Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
Wasn't me, Coach. Welcome to the Straight Red Card. Get off our lawn. Welcome to the Straight Red Card, the boys and girls out there, whatever. Yes. Hey, you sure you don't want to continue that discussion we were having about age of consent?
Oddly enough, we were recording the entire time.
Oh no! I'm gonna be in trouble. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. Anyhow, I'm not gonna. No, I was about to say something, and I'm not gonna say it. All right, fuck that. Welcome to Straight Red Card. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandma, as usual.
Ooh, Derek, roboting.
You are. I am. Am I roboting still?
Well, you're like here, and you're like talking, and then you're like all of a sudden you're here. Strobe effect. What is this?
Why I was a good boxer, man.
So we got all the Air's world. All the Air's world.
He says he's pregnant.
She's pregnant? I'm not sure.
Okay.
Who that is? We got Star Wars Satan in the house. Hey, Star Wars Satan. Don't worry about the comments. I'm just pulling them up.
All right, no. Biologically, that's a woman if she's pregnant. All right.
We got Jake.
I don't know about the rest of the.
Chris Gary. I'm just scrolling through looking for the turd.
You can do all of those. You can do go back to Chris.
Oh, Chris. Where's Chris?
Chris, we can do all of those things. I just don't. Not crack.
There we are.
Alcohol's fine. Cigarettes in moderation. Just look at the guitarist for the Rolling Stones.
What about Coke instead of crack? Is that okay?
Well, not at my age, it wouldn't be. But I think you have to make sure if you have an addictive personality, I wouldn't take up Coke.
What's my personality got to do with it?
You have an addictive personality. Okay. I'm just saying, I don't know. That's one hell of a stimulant. I mean, literally, absolutely. You can be drinking until like 6 a.m. and you're about to pass out and you take a couple lines and bam, all of a sudden you're like, hey, let's party on, man.
Because the turd's not here, Kevin's decided to step up.
How do we know the turd's not here?
I don't know.
I will read it as if it is the turd, Kevin.
He's here now.
He's here.
But we'll finish this one.
Today on the Straight Red Card, we will talk about Greg's hairline and the size of the testicles on Nancy Pelosi flying into Taiwan under the threat of being shot down by China. I don't know.
All right, here's the turd.
That was good, though.
Welcome. That was a good one, Kevin.
Yeah, welcome to the Straight Red Card. There once was a man from Nantucket whose dick was so long he could suck it. He said with a grin as he wiped up his chin, oh my God, if my ear were a cunt, I would fuck it. Did you make that up yourself?
That was good, turd.
Pretty good if you made that up for yourself, turd.
Thank goodness we're well past 30 seconds.
I'm not doubting your creativity. I'm just wondering aloud. No big deal.
Derek, is your computer physically plugged into your router?
Yes.
You are roboting like a fucker. Not verbally, fine. It's just the camera's like.
It's not on my end at all. I'm getting no robotation.
Hey guys, in the chat, is Derek roboting?
Am I doing the robot?
Is he doing the robot? I mean, it's a pretty impressive robot if that's the case. Maybe it's mine. That's all I'm seeing you as. But
yeah,
if everybody else is saying you're good, we're fine.
By the way, I got some swag on tonight.
Swag.
There it is.
So do I. It's Indianapolis State Fairground time.
All right.
Okay, I'm seeing no robot, no, and then I see Mr. Roboto. So maybe it's just receiving on my end. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe your line's. Usually, when your line's fucked up, though, you also are having an issue. So I don't know.
No, well, I'm glad that looks fine for everybody because that's all that matters. I don't have to look at Derek that well. I see him all the time.
And that's fine. All right. So, again, had to make a comment. I was sleeping really good this morning, and then my alarm went off to go to work, and it was the best part of the dream. Best part. Yeah. Again, ruined, spoiled.
Yeah, of course, happens all the time.
Why is it that good dreams only happen right before you're supposed to get up?
Your brain hates you.
I'm like a pretty good control of my dreams. Like I don't have nightmares ever.
Yeah.
I haven't had nightmares forever because I'm able to control my dream. Like if a nightmare sort of starts up, I'm like, oh come on, that's not real. There are no giant 18, foot dinosaurs in real life. And then my brain
18 foot. It's not that giant of a dinosaur.
Well, it's one of those raptor thingies, right?
The raptors are generally smaller. I mean, you've been watching a little too many Jurassic Parks, and even that's not 18 feet.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever. I'm sure there was a man-eating 18-footer. I mean, if there were men back then, but there weren't. And I mean, I love those people that think cavemen and dinosaurs lived at the same time. That's a small dino. It is. Like I was talking about. I was thinking kind of mama raptor.
It doesn't matter about the size of Derek. It matters how you use it. So.
Well, they have sharp teeth, and I'm sure they would use it. But
wake up! Just wake up! Wake up!
I mean, I've had such ridiculous dreams. I was playing volleyball once, and a plane crashed in the background, and the whole volleyball, all of us left the volleyball.
Was John Travolta flying that? Was John Travolta?
No. And the plane crashed, and I got to the scene, right? And there's all these people mangled and dead and whatever. The plane's all over, and there's dead bodies, and there's a fire and shit.
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford, right? Yeah. Well, there was a movie where he was, And
no, there's Harrison Ford. He crashed his plane on a golf course.
He did, and it's actually, I believe, the second time he's crashed his plane, and both times he successfully glided. Yes, that man's a badass. That's all I gotta say. He's a badass.
Yep. Look who's talking. John Travolta, the pilot.
Look who's talking. I don't get it.
The movie. Look who's talking.
Oh, look who's talking! The baby movie with the three gay guys. No, they're not.
No,
gay.
That's three. That's three guys and a girl or something like that. No, Look Who's Talking has John Travolta. It has is it Bruce
Ted Danson?
No, you're thinking of three guys and a girl.
Ew, that's
Bruce Willis is the baby. Yes. And what's her fucking face?
Three guys and a girl sounds like a porn movie.
three guys and a baby or something like that. 3 men and a baby. There you go. The whole guys thing probably added to that.
3 guys and a baby is what I said.
Sorry, Samuel got it first. 3 men and a baby.
That sounds gross too, by the way. 3 guys.
Oh, there we go. 3 guys, 1 cup. That's the spoof, guys. That's the porn spoof.
Is that a circle jerk thing? Is that a circle jerk reference?
What, in the 1 cup? You've never seen 2 girls in a cup?
Is that the one where they do disgusting things?
Absolutely disgusting things, yes.
Okay. I have not seen it, but I've heard about it. Yeah.
Sure you haven't, Eric.
Oh, I've seen other weird shit. That's weirder than that. Trust me. I was around when there were things called news groups. Remember those, Brett? No, you're too old. Young.
News groups?
News groups. That's how you went onto the interwebs, and if you were into golf, you would go to the news group, the golf news group. Well, there was all kinds of weird ass news groups, right? And it was unregulated. You could post anything you wanted in there, and people did. And I saw some weird shit.
Lemon Party. I'm sure there is some poor taste.
Yes.
From the 2 girls in a cup.
Just let me know out there, anybody who knows what news groups is. Because if you do, then you're probably as old as me or older. Because that was a weird place, man. And I think there were like 2,000, 3,000 news groups. And you just get curious and bump around them and say, I wonder what the fuck this is. And then you get in there and go, holy fuck, I'm out of here. So anyhow, news groups.
Let's kind of bring it back to soccer. 2 Gregs and 1 verticality.
2 G's or 3 G's and 1 verticality.
Here's Alex Martinez thinking that we're going to be doing the Eiffel Tower later.
2 guys and 1 girl starring Derek and Brett. That ain't happening. What are you high-fiving for?
No, have you've never heard of the Eiffel Tower?
Oh, no, we're not getting involved in those things.
This has been a very interesting first 10 minutes of a show, guys. I'm sure we're going to get all of the family-friendly YouTubers watching.
Yep. That's no. Yeah.
Oh no.
I'm not doing that. Two
There
girls.
we go.
Two girls.
There we
fine.
go. Here's a great question.
How high a ceiling can Miasma kick Greg's dog into? Allegedly, he only got about 3 or 4 feet off the ground. So
I don't know. We have video evidence of somebody kicking Berhalter's dog into the sun.
I know, but it didn't look like the back of Miazga's head.
Yeah, no. USSF came out and said it was not Miazga, but they are looking to him. Or they're looking for that guy because they're looking for a potential World Cup center back. That would the dog into the sun.
That would
clear a soccer ball.
That would be funny if clearing mattered at all these days, but unfortunately it doesn't since everybody wants to play out of the back. So put the stream on speakers, folks. Stream on speakers. Jesus Christ. LOL. Sorry, guys.
This has been a great start, guys. Loveliness.
I don't even know what was funny about any of that beginning.
All right. Well, this has been a great show, guys. We'll catch you next time.
All right, later. Thank you. Yeah.
Not rumors, Ralph. Apparently, they are closing on a deal. Miazga's heading back home to stateside.
He's taking himself and his limp dick back to fucking USA. It's too bad. He couldn't find any place that really wanted him that bad, and the one place that did, they didn't have the money to spend to keep him. So
it'll be interesting to see how what the price tag is, how willing Chelsea is able to release him at this point.
What'd they buy him for? $8 million?
7? Yeah, it's somewhere between 6 and 8. I think it was 6 to 8 area.
They'll take 3.
But then again, I couldn't imagine that there not being a European club that would have been interested, given his extensive experience all around Europe. Some low, maybe just promoted team. I don't know.
Maybe his time in France and Spain have made it obvious to many that he's no better than a championship center back.
Maybe that would have been the case, and who knows? But if you're looking at like a $3 million for him, I mean, I imagine there's got to be a championship team that was interested.
You would think there would have been because he played really well for Reading. I mean, literally, he got off the bus. They gave him a fucking uniform. He went on the field, started, and played extremely well the whole season. It's really...
I imagine the only reason he didn't get bought then is because of the price tag.
But I think the problem with Matt, and I hope that Matthew Hoppe doesn't suffer from this as well, is he really comes off as kind of a dick. And, I don't know. He and Berhalter, no, I thought his whole marriage thing during a window was fucking weird as shit. It's like you can't plan that ahead. Don't you see yourself being in qualifiers? Don't you see yourself being in windows? So why would you plan your marriage within a window for the World Cup?
I asked the same thing. My brother-in-law got married, and it just so happened to fall on the exact same goddamn day that U.S. played England in the World Cup.
Yeah, but your brother should have thought ahead if he cared about that. But he doesn't care about that much.
Who puts a wedding during the World Cup? You're stupid as fuck.
Yeah, but that's not on you. That's on him.
He's going to be looking through his guest list and saying, well, let's see. They're all basketball fans.
Oh, yeah.
Summer's going to be great.
Sure.
Oh, wait, here's Brett. Can't do it during that one month of the fucking World Cup.
I'm not allowed
to just say the first 2 weeks because U.S. are unlikely to get out of the group in that stage.
I'm not going to get married when I chose to get married because my brother Brett wants to watch the World Cup.
Yeah.
That would have been very thoughtful of him.
Maybe an evening wedding.
I mean,
the game was like at noon. Come on.
When I got married, I didn't give a fuck about anybody else's schedule.
Yeah,
we planned it, Stupid love and happiness, it can suck it. Stupid love and happiness, it can suck it. It does suck sometimes. There's no doubt about that because the love and happiness thing doesn't last forever. Then it becomes sort of different love and, just for me personally. Yeah. And then, it's like eating the same fucking Ritz crackers every day, then somebody hands you whatever.
About the different spreads you can put on there, man. What kind of spread are you going to put on that?
Oh, shit. I don't know what you're doing, what you're using, but it's working, I guess.
Chris Gary says Brett told his wife he'll stay back and watch the Rugrats. I would have been Nostradamus predicting that we were going to have Rugrats. This is back in 2010, before we were even married.
Yeah. Rugrats weren't even on the schedule yet.
At one point, my wife wanted 3 kids. She wanted 3 kids.
Really?
And I wanted one kid. I was like, I'll take one kid. And we negotiated and took two because after the second kid, there was no chance in hell there was going to be a third.
Yeah, she's Italian. She wants more than two kids. Italians like to have babies. I mean, maybe not. Your wife does. I mean, obviously.
She loved, with Jackson, she loved being pregnant. Loved it. She just had the whole glow, nothing, no morning sickness, just enjoying the experience. And then with Charlie, it was like completely opposite. She was, throwing up pea soup with her head spinning around in circles.
Yeah.
It was miserable.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty miserable, but I was like you, only going to have one, but then I inherited one too. So then I had two from her first marriage. So there you go. Then you get two kids. You only wanted one. Kids. But you know what? It's great, really great, because I'm very close to both of them at this point. They're both good kids. Let's see. Brett told his wife. All right, what else? Because we're getting near the point where we ought to actually talk about the topic.
16 minutes and we can't keep talking about sex and all that shit? No, but
I don't know. Some people don't like that.
Okay. You know what? You're right, Derek. We need to talk about an actual soccer-specific topic.
Okay.
I got one just for you, actually. Let me pull it up here.
Okay. Hope it's not a picture of your cock. All right, there we go. Sam Cutts.
You need that bigger? You need it bigger?
Some transfer news. Nottingham Forest and the Dutch striker Jizz Hornkamp from Wilhelm II. He's 24, decent scoring ratio, and once scored 4 in 34 minutes for previous club. Talks underway, if it all goes well, would be 13th signing of the summer for, I saw it, Jizz Hornkamp. Jizz Hornkamp.
Hey, guys, we're talking soccer now, guys. Let's get our minds out of the gutter.
I get the
soccer players.
I get the jizz part. I'm not sure about the Hornkamp. And then that's okay. That's okay. I don't need to always get it, Sam. We'll cut the fart.
I'm scared to actually Google. Doesn't mean this is. I mean, unless he's. So let's just see. All right, so this is a legit person.
It's his name is Jizz.
Yeah, Jizz Hornkamp.
Excellent, man. Well, his parents definitely knew he was going to have a great career in soccer because he's big enough to play for Nottingham Forest. So there you go. It is a real name. There's some other funky ones we brought up here before. We won't go back to them. I feel like that would be joke abuse. But, there are some funny ass name people out there. There's no doubt about it.
All right. Do you want to hammer through a couple of the questions on Twitter before we jump into our actual topic?
Yes. Let's make them soccer related if possible.
I make no guarantees. We know our listeners.
Okay.
There you go.
Is it?
He is a real person. What the fuck?
Yes. That's why I said I don't get the Hornkamp part.
We talk about soccer on this channel.
Yes, sometimes.
Not grasping that?
Is it controversial to say Pulisic hit his ceiling? He hasn't hit a ceiling.
Well, hold on. I guess we should specify what our topic is today.
Oh, yeah. Today we're going to talk about all the players who were in the pool for the World Cup and whether or not they are who's got the highest ceiling, who's hit a ceiling, and if they've hit their ceiling, how is that bad? Sometimes that doesn't mean that's bad. Sometimes that just means,
hey,
where they're at.
Ceiling and you're top of your game playing for a top level team. Who cares?
I mean, Walker Zimmerman has hit his ceiling, but I mean, is it still a good enough ceiling to play for us? Probably in Greg's mind, it certainly is. So.
Well, I mean, even if you take into consideration a different manager, I mean, I feel like Zimmerman's got to be in the top 5 for anybody given our player pool.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, he's just an example of a guy who's hit a ceiling. He's not going to get any better than he's going to get right now. Yeah, it's as good as he's going to get.
Nothing's wrong with that.
The only ceiling Pulisic's hit so far is the ceiling.
The Tuchel ceiling.
It's his after jerking off. Bam. That's the only ceiling. He's
got about soccer, Derek. Come on.
He's got more to grow. I'm just telling you.
Seriously, soccer. Talk soccer.
I was. I was just using a
metaphor.
More to
grow. Come on.
Metaphor to explain the ceiling thing. He will still be our best, or arguably our best players for a few more years, but I think he reached his peak. Maybe if he ever gets consistent playing time at his club, he can grow. I think there's room. I think he can still get more tactically savvy. I think if he stays healthy and plays a lot, I think he can be in a place where he's informed consistently. But and he's never going to be the kind of guy like what's his face at Real Madrid who went from Chelsea. His brother plays on for Hazard. He's never going to be Hazard because he's not the kind of guy that's going to go home and just eat Twinkies all day and get fat. So that's not going to happen. Pulisic's the kind of guy who loves his sport, loves being energetic, loves staying healthy.
All I can imagine is that scene from Dodgeball with the pizza with Ben Stiller. I don't know if you've ever seen Dodgeball.
Oh yeah.
And he's like, you want that dough? And he shocks himself. Ah!
So I don't think
don't want that Twinkie. Pulisic's like, no Twinkie.
Whereas Hazard went to Spain and he was fat. I'm sorry, he's just overweight.
The question is whether or not Pulisic's hit his ceiling, and we'll talk about this more in depth.
Is it controversial to say he's hit a ceiling? I don't think it's controversial.
He's playing for a top 3 team in EPL right now, and I think the more controversial topic when it comes to Pulisic is how Tuchel's using him.
Well, yeah, but I get that, but I'm just saying, is it controversial to say it? I don't think so. Am I going to disagree with you saying it? Probably, Chris, but it's not a big deal. I think there's more growth left in Pulisic even. I really do.
I'm sure you do. All right, hold on.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Oh, you got to reload.
More growth, huh?
You got to reload.
At a reload.
All right. Sam Cuts a Fart says defenders seldom get mentioned. So for the sake of conversation, I'll say Chris Richards. CBs tend to take a longer to develop, and it seems CR is still developing, but some player could come from nowhere and surprise us all. No, that's totally true. Some player could come from nowhere.
Absolutely, yeah.
Surprise us. That happens all the time. However, I don't think Chris Richards has hit any ceiling quite yet. I think he's got
He's still developing. He's still honing his craft. And we'll get into this more.
I mean, he's going to get as he matures, he's going to really understand the whole. He's going to find a pocket of understanding about what being a defender or what being a center back is. I don't think he's quite gotten there. I don't think he's played enough to get there. And when he has played, sometimes he's played as a left center back. So not as a center back. Anyhow, the whole point of it is he's got growth. He's got growth coming. What age do you consider prime years? Well, it depends.
Depends on the position.
If you're Wayne Rooney, they were between the ages of 17 and 24. Or 26. He
was still performing.
I guess 28, maybe. I'll give him 28. Sure. CR, obviously, Cristiano Ronaldo was an early bloomer.
So. Let's ignore the outliers. Yes, Ronaldo's a freak of fucking nature. No, I think most outliers. I mean, obviously, goalkeepers have a higher prime. Center backs are probably just below them as far as your prime age.
Yep.
Your wings, since they rely heavily on speed, generally are going to have a much younger prime, generally speaking.
Midfielders can play a long time, depending.
It depends on your style. Well. Yeah.
But I'd say goalkeepers up to the age of probably for some 36, 35, they're still in their prime. So D-Rex interview with Wayne Rooney was a train wreck. Probably was, Chris. That was my best impersonation of Wayne Rooney I could do. And that was back in 2008 or 9, somewhere around there. Maybe it was 10 or 11. So, but it was still, it was fun because I talked to him about him being in the whorehouse. Remember when Wayne Rooney got caught while he was married, hanging out at a whorehouse, a house of prostitution? It happened for reals. I don't think people understand how high Musa's ceiling is.
Sorry, yeah, go ahead.
When you're writing thumping to the straight red card, I'm part of, I don't think you should ever start something with say, I might not understand how high anything is, because I know how high.
I don't think people understand how high Derek is.
I don't think people understand how high, in this case, Musa's ceiling is. We're so used to him being there now. I mean, he's got more to go, and that's scary because that ball is like a magnet.
Dude.
A magnet.
Yeah, his ability to turn, as long as he can keep maintaining that ability to turn and put on the jets, he's got years.
That
years
kid,
and years and years.
He could be so phenomenal. The only thing that's going to stop him is an injury.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Who?
Huh?
You say
I
Monaco?
I said Valencia.
Oh, I thought you said Lewinsky. I'm like, Monica Lewinsky?
Monica Lewinsky can stop him right now.
Horrible blowjob or something?
Apparently Musa loves the cigars.
Horrible blowjob that goes wrong and maims him for life. All right. I think Adams has peaked. Nuh-uh. Highest ceiling, my personal favorite Dest. I don't know. I flip-flopped that. I thought Adams has looked, since he's gotten with Marsh, he's even looked better than he's ever looked.
Let's also take into consideration the style player Adams is. He's not the type of player that's going to be sprinting up and down the field covering so much ground. So again, he's gonna have a longer life expectancy as a player. Now, whether or not he can continue to develop, that'll be seen. And I think
I just said he has been.
Yes, and I'm agreeing with you. If you let me finish, I think what we've seen with him at Leeds so far, and again against lesser sides to an extent, he's definitely shown a bit more energy and a bit more pep in his step, if you will.
I think people are going to be shocked about how good Adams is in the Premier League this season.
It'll be nice to see, and I can't wait for the season to start this weekend when I'll be driving up to Michigan for a freaking birthday party. Don't worry, I'm stoked about going to the birthday party. It's for my niece. It's gonna be a blast, and I'm gonna have to catch a lot of games on replay or at night.
Man, you drive a lot to Michigan. Jesus fuck.
Dude, thank goodness I got a car that has great gas mileage.
God, I would opt out of this many trips to Michigan. I seriously
It's only
would.
a 2.5 hour trip. I mean, hell, some people in California make that trip just to go to work.
I guess it's not that horrible. I had to drive to LaPorte, and that's right on the, for a conference once, and that was right on the border with Michigan.
Right on the border, yes.
Yes. In fact, there were
and where I go in Michigan is just right over the border.
When I was in LaPorte, there were fucking seagulls flying around. I knew I was close to the goddamn,
I'm almost close to Lake Michigan.
Lake Michigan,
a borderline in the ocean. I think it's monstrous.
Right. So, no, I don't think Adams has peaked. I think he's got a lot more to go, and he's going to show you that. Mm-hmm. As far as Dest goes, Dest can grow more, but as Javi keeps pointing out, he's tactically not where he needs to be. His understanding of the game is not where he needs to be, and now there are more talks about Dest being sold. So
it's the constant silly season that's always going to happen. He's always going to be brought up, absolutely, and they're almost as consistent as Weston to Tottenham, almost as consistent.
Right.
Kevin, you an Indy boy? 30 minutes away from Michigan border. I guess it could be Illinois at the point, or technically Ohio for that matter.
I know people could
Minnesota.
I know people could break Kevin's record if there's this one guy who lives right on. This one guy lives on the Indiana-Michigan border, and I mean, literally, when he steps out of his house, he goes from being in Indiana to Michigan. His house is especially in Indiana, but when he leaves his front door, it's Michigan.
That's the equivalent of living in a rural city or rural town, but having the zip code and address of a larger town next to you.
Yes, exactly. So
you say you live in Indianapolis. Well, technically, yes, but I don't.
Yeah, it's like my whole Fishers experience. I'm so on the border. I could actually just say I'm in Indianapolis. So
yeah.
Although
you're really on the freaking border there. Yes.
96th Street. That is the border. So, Derek, how many Americans are you currently tracking abroad? Last time I looked, it was 329. Is Miss Discaroot one of them? Yes, he plays on a team in Cyprus. Happy belated birthday, big guy. Hey, I know I'm old as fuck. I'm even older than I was last year.
Which is, technically speaking, that's accurate, yes.
And it's good because if you stop aging, that means you're dead. So I'll take it.
Jonathan Rupert says his dad owns a business that resides in Pennsylvania, but his mailbox across the
street is in Ohio. I know, and I've seen this on some parts in Canada where there are cities that are literally or towns that are split in half. Like there's a line that goes down the middle of the town that says, now you're in Canada, now you're in fucking, it's crazy. New York.
There you go. Lopez is talking about
I have my reservations on Adams. I think the system is helping hide his shortcomings. He hasn't gotten better but he's showing to be a great player. He is a great player, but I do think if someone plays him in the right system like Marsh is going to do, you're going to see the best of Tyler Adams.
Well, and I think, if the system works for the player, then you're seeing the best of the player. Now, we're not going to see him turn into a completely different player based off the system by any means, but we're going to see him work in a system that works for him.
I think he becomes a better player when he has somebody like Musa dropping back to help him, or like they do with Leeds, play next to Roca in front of the front four or the back four. So 4, 2, 3, 1.
Still fathoms how I'm still bothered how many people are impressed by Roca so far. And I know I've only seen a couple of preseason games, so I can't talk. But I will.
That's okay. I mean, I have not been that impressed by Roca either, but I will say I have been impressed by Adams. And I do think it makes Adams feel more comfortable to have another CDM next to him. So
I mean, we're seeing Berhalter's doing that really with Musa, like you said. Yeah. He's putting Musa back a little further. Now, mind you, that also means that Adams has a little more confidence about getting forward into the attack, and I think that ends up hurting his style of play because I don't think Adams is that great moving into the attack.
Yeah, but
I think he's better at sitting back, breaking shit up.
In Marsh's system, he has had and made some good offensive plays.
Fair play. Yeah,
I mean, I know people are going to say, well, it was against Cagliari. Well, that's still a decent team.
It was a Serie A team just last year. Come on. Yes. They were in the same scenario that Leeds was in, but Leeds managed to stay up and Cagliari went down. So they're more or less on par, mind you, across two different leagues, of course.
Yes.
So maybe not necessarily on par, but in the same scenario.
Adams is never going to be, Franz Beckenbauer. He does have his shortcomings, but, he still has rooms to grow in areas where he can grow. He'll never be the kind of guy that's going to take on 3 players and blow by them. He's never going to be that kind of guy. And I think it's okay to accept that. Brian McBride used to say he was so successful in Fulham, even though he considered himself one of the worst players on his team because he knew his limitations. And he knew what he was good at, and
throw that ball in the air. I will get to it.
He stuck to what he was good at. He didn't try to blow by 2 guys with the ball because he's slow as fuck. So he knew that. So what he would do? He would hold the ball, wait for guys to come up. He distribute it.
When you got a 9 like Brian McBride, you play that shit out wide, and you just lob that into the air.
Yep. And it worked. That dude could jump like a gazelle. Just amazing.
Have you ever seen the short of Ronaldo jumping in the air for that?
Yes, that's pretty amazing too.
He's just fucking flying. He's like,
I know.
And it's like 30 seconds of him like up in the air, like 8 feet up in the air. Just like holy shit.
Yeah, that's even better than McBride's jump, which wasn't bad. But a lot of McBride's jumps were done standing, not running into the box. So, all right. Aaron Long has conceded 13 goals in his last 3 competitive games. Well, not by himself. Do you think that changes anything in Greg's mind? No. I think he has already hit his ceiling and has been on the decline now since his injury. I would agree with all that. He's hit a ceiling. He's done.
I think he's benefiting from Berhalter being here, quite frankly. I think he was doing well up until his injury, and I hate to say let's just wait to see what happens with him because he's had some mixed results at the club level. But then he had a friendly against Barcelona where apparently he had some okay plays, some good plays. I don't know. We got tagged on some of that shit. Like, hey, this is something that Brooks typically fucks around on, And
it's a friendly. I mean, I think we just covered Long. This is it. We won't have to talk about him.
There you go. We talked about his ceiling. His ceiling was pre-injury.
Yeah, his ceiling is done. His ceiling's done. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is where it is. It's not getting any better. And the only reason he's making the World Cup team is because of Greg. All right. Reyna and Musa probably have the highest ceiling. I'd agree.
Yeah,
I could see either one starting for Real Madrid one day. Certainly could see Reyna doing that. In the next,
Reyna's definitely got interest from the big two in Spain. But I don't know if Dortmund's willing to sell him unless it's a hefty price.
Well, there is a little hesitation now because from the bigger teams because of his injury history.
Sure.
So
I'm sure they're all just waiting to see what he can do on a real season. But
yeah,
he was out the entire last season. There's no doubt that creates hesitation.
In the next 10 years, will we have a U.S. men's national team player in the top 5 for the Ballon d'Or voting? No. And here's the reason why, mostly, is because those winners are usually attackers. There was a rare moment when Modric got it, and there have been other guys that have gotten it, like Platini or whatever. I don't even think they called it that back then, but they probably did. But, I mean, those are rare. But Zidane was a midfielder. But it's nowadays, more recently, outside of Modric, it's always an attacking player. It's either Messi or Ronaldo or who else has won it? Did Lewandowski ever win one? I thought maybe he won one.
I don't follow European soccer.
But they're all attackers now. So I don't see it. We're lucky if we get a competitive 9 to ever show up for us. I will jerk myself off till I pass out.
We have a consistent scorer up top? What the fuck?
Give us a 9 that actually scores. Now, Reyna is more of a midfielder and Pulisic's more of a wide player. I suppose it's possible that Pulisic could win it, but I don't see it happening. I still think there are going to be other. You still got Mbappe out there. He'll be around for at least a bunch of years. So, I just don't see it.
James says Kaká and Modric.
Kaká.
And, Jonathan says, I call him Kaká. Louis. He got it.
Lewandowski.
So he did get one.
Okay, good.
Jorginho got 3rd last year. That was questionable.
Yeah, the midfielder is always coming 3rd. That's how that works. So, I just don't see it happening because we don't really have an attacking player that blows your balls off, that just totally dominates. Pulisic is a role player at Chelsea. He's not so good that he's like the Ronaldo of Chelsea. He's not. And so I just don't see that ever happening. Now, Reyna, in his position, I doubt he'll ever win one either. But he could sniff at one. He could get a 3rd. I'll give him a 3rd.
You got one last sentence here.
And that French reporter said a USA. Okay. In the next 10 years, blah, blah, blah. I read a tweet that said, Face, a French reporter, pew in my
Pee in my face, eh? Pee in my face?
Pee on my face. Okay. A French reporter said a U.S. player will. I'm sure that French reporter does not exist. American winning this World Cup? No way.
Maybe it's a maybe again going back to porn. Maybe it has to do with porn. Ball on
door. My ball's on your door. Please open it.
Maybe something like that. Thinking just off the cuffs. Yeah.
I didn't know the French word.
There you go. See what I mean?
Yeah, that's more
that golden shower action.
That's more of a German thing. It's more of a German thing.
Yeah, but that's usually on the leg, I heard.
It's German goo girls. Yeah. That's their whole shtick.
Yeah.
High ceilings, Reyna, Pulisic, Musa, Weah, Destin, Weston, Jedi, LT, hit ceiling, Adams. Man, a lot of people picking on Adams lately.
He had the bad season with Leipzig last year.
Yeah, well, maybe they stopped playing a system that he would be actually good at.
And who knows? Maybe their opinions will change on him after this season with Marsh. We'll see what happens.
Oh, they will.
Yeah.
They will.
We'll see. We'll see, guys.
I mean, the guy the new manager didn't play Jesse ball. I mean, I don't know how.
I guess to be fair, Adams really didn't perform well with Jess either. I know it's short-lived, but it still didn't really perform then either.
I thought he was fine.
Well, I mean, adequate, let's just say, but not necessarily excelling by any means.
But, I blame that more on Jesse trying to get a grip on the team and trying
That's
to
possible.
get the team to play a system, which they refused to do, So that didn't work. The team said, no, we're used to what Nagelsmann did. We don't care what you want us to do. We're not listening. And that's why Jesse left. He's like, well, players don't want me. They obviously don't want to play the style I'm playing. Zimmerman.
They had Zimmerman, which is what you said, which again isn't a bad thing. We just know what we're expecting with Zimmerman at this point.
And then Morris, I think so. And then RuPaul. She's definitely hit her ceiling. There's no doubt about it.
Not making this team, I'll tell you that much.
RuPaul. Man, the fact that I use that at all makes me older. I agree that currently Gio Reyna is our highest ceiling player at this age, no doubt. The kid has talent without a doubt. What I don't agree with, and I've heard and seen this from various media outlets, that he might be a future Ballon d'Or, and this comparison with Pulisic, two different players. Yeah, you can't compare them. They don't play the same position. They're better.
Well, they play the same position under Berhalter.
Yes, but they are different players. They're better at different things. Mm-hmm. Pulisic's really good at going people on a straight line, although he will dip and doodle. But, I mean, Reyna is not as fast
Reyna's
as
definitely
Pulisic.
a more dip and doodler.
Yeah, Reyna's not as fast as Pulisic, but he doesn't need to be because he's just a badass, plain and simple. People saying he's going to win a Ballon d'Or. I mean, I don't know who these people are, but they need to fucking stop, They need to get off the drugs. Bad drugs, obviously. Probably meth or one of those things that kill you. Fentanyl. Meth doesn't kill you, just rot your teeth out. Fentanyl.
Sure, meth does, in fact, kill you in the end.
Everything kills you. Living kills you. That's how that works.
Living kills you slower than meth does.
I don't think meth really kills you. It just makes you rot a little in the mouth. And it makes you stupid. And it makes you paranoid.
Get off the drugs, okay?
But I don't know if it kills you in the same way that, like, fentanyl can kill you. That should just kill you one day. Just like, you're dead. Yeah. You took too much.
Whoops. All right, guys. We will save the rest of the questions because other ones are coming in as we talk. But let's jump into
that's what she said.
Player pool. Hey, we're 43 minutes into it, so we gotta start hammering this.
Oh yeah, we gotta hammer this out. Matt Turner has not reached the ceiling. No, he is not. He's got more growth to go. I think. I think he's going to learn more about the game. I think he has vastly improved his footy game in just the last 8 months.
I'll say he can improve on his footy game just because distribution generally is just repetition.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not necessarily learning how to read the game. So he could improve. His shot stopping is top notch. It's quality.
That's not going to get any better, probably.
No, there's no way that's going to get any better. I mean, if he does, it'll be extremely solid. But no, his distribution can definitely improve. And like I just said, it's all a matter of repetition. So yeah, I'll agree. His ceiling can get higher.
On the ceiling meter, I would say his ceiling can get about that much better. So. We're talking, the water
says peak.
Not yet. I think he's got a little more to go to get to the peak.
I think he can learn to distribute better and control the ball.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not going to be amazing by any means. He's not going to the back passes. He's not going to get, like crazy skills by any means.
Right.
But he'll be more comfortable with the ball.
Yes. And I think he's going to learn shit playing in a better league. I'm just telling you, he's going to learn some shit. He's going to learn to deal with a quicker speed.
I mean, he is 28. So, I mean, can't teach an old dog new tricks type thing when it comes to that. But, yeah.
So, I mean, as far as the ceiling goes, he's got a little turtle to grow about. That's about it.
It's right about here. Huh? Yep.
It's not far off. Oh, yep, that's about it.
Slide your other hand right through it. Slide right through it.
Yeah, that's about as more as he's going to do. But he's still got a bit of a ceiling to go. A little tiny bit of a ceiling. Sean Johnson,
you're out of there.
Your ceiling. You've hit it. You are who you are. Ethan Horvath, I think he's getting pretty close.
I think he's hit a ceiling. Absolutely, because the only thing he's missing is playing time to stay sharp. I don't think he's going to improve any at this point.
Maybe his confidence might improve, but that's just such a small thing to measure.
Well, that's a ceiling, though. I mean, the ceiling I imagine is more like talent and ability, whereas confidence is just how you utilize your skills and set. You know?
Yeah, but he's his personality is such a fucking pussy shit thing.
He likes wood. Let him sit pine.
So I'm just saying, maybe that this season might toughen him up a little bit. You know, I don't know. So that's the only thing I can think of. So that's enough. That's even smaller than Turner's. That's
possible. Maybe Horvath does improve, but again, I'm at 27, and I don't see him actually improving because his shot stopping's good. I guess that could improve a little bit.
Well, I mean,
his distribution's not bad. That could improve a little bit. I guess
to compare. I know, but to compare the growth potential. At least Turner's got a small, flaccid penis just out of the cold shower. Ethan Horvath's got about a clitoris length to grow. That's about it. He's not going to get any bigger than that. Anybody that is trying to rate ceiling is the dumbest in the world.
Well, I mean,
why, Cole? It's called opinions.
Let's look at this real quick. I wrote on our Twitter. It's like, it's that time of the week. Join us at 8:15 Eastern Standard Time. Ranking players, ranking coaches. How could we possibly pick a more subjective topic than that? Oh, who's got the highest ceiling? Who's got their ceiling? Yeah.
We told you before you came to the show. It's subjective. Come on,
yes,
Cole.
Totally subjective. And predicting it is impossible. But you know what? We've got microphones and we've got mouths and we love to talk.
It's not impossible. We've been watching all these players play for years. We've been watching their growth rates. So it's not dumb.
We've got the
dumbest thing in the world.
We've got an educated guess, yeah.
If you think that's the dumbest thing in the world, man, there are things just going way over your head that are way dumber than this. All right. And I'm sure you're fucking a blast at parties. Jesus Christ. When we drink beers and have fun, we talk about this shit all the time just for the fun of it because we're having a good time. And it's a conversation thing, right?
Ooh,
so come on, Cole. One. Come on, Cole. Break out of your isolation tank. Jose Lopez, my Everest, has peaked in popularity. Okay, good for you, buddy. Is that his nickname for his penis?
Cole ends up coming back, says opinions are like assholes and everyone has one. They're full of crap. No, I don't disagree. Opinions are full of crap. We all have our opinion, but we can make an educated guess.
Okay,
looking at players at this age, we can say
I've heard this quote so many times, and it's so full of shit. It's full of shit. Not all our opinions are the same. Sometimes some people know about more than other people do. Not saying I do, just saying it is true. Back, and I thought you were dumb then, and you're proving me right now. I don't know any Coles. I know no Coles. No Coles or no.
He might have been a listener back in the 2010 era.
Well, I can tell you I'm not dumb.
You're dumb.
I can tell you I'm not dumb. I can prove that. Cole, if you want to come over, we can do a little proving I'm not dumb. I don't care. I mean, if you think I'm dumb, then you're probably dumb if you think I'm dumb. All right, here we go. I'm just saying.
What the hell was that?
Like, if you're so dumb you can't figure out that someone's not dumb, then you're probably dumb, you know? Oh, I don't know if he's dumb or not. He talks, and then I don't know.
Cool. Make sure you tag that shit on Twitter. I would love to pull that up and see. Derek Derek, you weren't too. I mean, outside of our podcast, you weren't in the comment section. You weren't too terribly active in the threads.
Not really, no.
So, and I ran it under an alias. I had my own personal Big Soccer account, but and I had to get them to approve that because it was like, you already have an account. I'm like, yeah, but I don't want to keep posting as my alias.
I mean, maybe I made a bad prediction. That doesn't make me dumb.
I think you predicted Donovan to flame out earlier.
I did?
No, you didn't.
No, I didn't. I was way ahead of everybody else on Freddie Adu, though.
Okay. Yeah, let's keep going, man. Let's keep going. Again, Cole, tag me. Straight underscore red. Tag me.
I want to see this shit.
That'll be Monday's show. We'll prove how stupid Derek is. I would love to do that. That'd be great to go back and see how dumb we were back in there. You were so fucking. I guarantee you, if I went back and looked through all my responses,
Yes,
I was wrong on a bunch of fucking shit. I guarantee it.
I'm sure I was. There was no doubt about it. But you know what? That's something all humans do. So it's okay. It's called evolution. Jesus, that was 10 years ago, too. So 8 years ago.
All right. So Yedlin.
Yes.
Derek, what's your take on Yedlin?
Yedlin's hit his ceiling. He's done.
He's declining.
He might even be declining
at this point.
Yeah. His ceiling was here.
His ceiling was
like
up here.
Down here. Yeah.
Yeah. His ceiling included a lot of speed, and he's lacking that speed now. To an extent.
Brett, that's a dumb opinion.
It is.
He can't know you. How do you know that?
He went to Newcat. How do I know that it has speed?
How do you know he's declining? How do you know that, Brett? It's just your opinion.
I've got eyes.
I've got an asshole too, just like you.
All right, Eric Palmer Brown.
God,
he hasn't hit a ceiling. No, he's got room to grow and develop.
He's got room to grow.
He's fucking 25. He's definitely got room to. He's going to learn the game.
But man, I'm still waiting. But he did have a good season in France.
He had a great season in France, compared to his previous seasons.
Maybe there is some growth for him still. We'll see.
He's moving up. What was he? He was in Austria before then, and then he went to France, and eventually, once he cracked it in the winter window, he started like every fucking game. So
I mean, he's
moving up.
There was a time in Austria I was like, God, I mean, he should be dominating.
Do you remember when before he moved to France, Juve came a knocking and threw like 1 million to Sporting, and Sporting's like, nah, we got this. But no, it's like he could have started his career at Juve.
Probably better than he didn't.
Who did he officially sign for? He signed for City, didn't he?
Man City. Yep.
I don't know if there's much of a difference there. He would have been loaned out regardless.
Yeah, he would have. That's true. But he probably would have played in Serie B if he went to Juventus. So I don't know if that would have been worse. But at least in Belgium, Austria. I mean, he played a lot. It's just it was never that fucking impressive. Anthony, but he was last season in France. I'll give him that. It was a really decent season. Anthony Robinson, he's got a lot of, I think, room. He could still grow technically. Passing wise, under pressure, I think he'll get good. He's looking more confident, and I've already seen him grow quite a bit from his first experiences with the U.S. men's national team.
Just with the men's national team, you can see the vast difference from when he first started to where he is now. Obviously, he's been. I mean, he has his faults from time to time, but he's been relatively consistent as one of our top defensive options.
Yeah, I say he's got like that much to go. I think that's possible. Aaron Long, he flatlines.
He can. Well, I mean, going back to a Jedi real quick, he could definitely improve defensively. I think offensively, he's got that down. I mean, I guess let's also rephrase. He can definitely improve on crossing. That's something he can improve on. So that's going to definitely increase his ceiling height.
I mean,
crossing sucks donkey balls.
He seems like a guy that's pretty intent over the last 4 years of getting better.
Yes.
And so I just see a kid that really wants to keep getting better. So I still think he's got some room to grow. Aaron Long, we've already talked about. Fuck him. Joe Scally. I think he's got more to grow.
Well, of course, he's 19. Of course,
he's 19 fucking years old.
He has one season under his belt, pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. This is one of those things where I'm going to say, I don't know how much Joe Scally can grow, but he seems to be growing. And I don't know when that stops, but I mean, for him, he's probably got a good 3, 4, 5 years left of getting better and continuing to get better before he becomes, like a Bundesliga regular. I mean, we'll see. Maybe that doesn't work out and he ends up back in MLS. We don't know. All kinds of weird shit happens. But right now, he looks to be on the ups, moving up.
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely.
CCV, he seems to have improved, but then not improved this preseason. But I wouldn't read too much into that. It's just hard to say with CCV because he's playing against in a league where everyone
Rangers, and that's about it.
Yeah, it's just like you got Rangers, and then maybe there's usually one other team that steps up that's better than all the others, but isn't quite up to Rangers and Celtic standards. But yeah, I don't know. I'm going to say he's undecided on Cameron Carter-Vickers. I think he's got room to grow, though, for sure.
I think he's a pretty solid championship style defender, quite frankly. He's not a very fast defender. I don't see him necessarily. I don't know. I'm thinking CCV may have hit a ceiling.
I think he's close. I think he's close if he hasn't.
He's a pretty solid center back. He's just not fast, and I think he's found his limit basically.
Playing where he probably should be playing, and he might be able to play.
I think he can play higher than Celtic.
No, Celtic plays. You're going to play in the Champions League.
So you get 3 games.
Hey,
okay.
It didn't hurt Aronson. He played for Salzburg.
Good. I know, and he moved up into the EPL. Let's see what happens with CCV in this situation.
I think CCV could play for a mid to lower table eventually EPL team. I think he could.
Sure. I don't necessarily disagree with that.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I do. All right, Reggie Cannon. What?
I said I don't necessarily disagree with that, and you go, I do. It was just bad timing. Bad timing.
I wasn't responding to that comment.
Right, before I jump off of CCV here.
What age does CB hit their prime? I don't know. I mean, it ranges from player to player.
Depends. Yeah, I would argue and say maybe like mid to late 20s, like late 20s probably.
If I picked an average, though, I'd say 30. I think that's it. And then from then, on the average, it's mostly downhill from there. But you have had a lot of center backs play until they're like 36, 37, 38. And it's like, wow.
To what Al's referring to here, we're talking about a 24-year-old center back. He could improve, absolutely. I don't know. I'll need to see more.
Me too.
I'll leave it at that.
I want to see Champions League this season and see how he does there again. I just need to see that. I mean,
he's got room. He's got time to develop. Let's rephrase it. Not necessarily room to develop. He's got time to develop more, and it's possible he might.
I think he's just going to get more tactically aware. I don't think he's going to improve.
Have to, given the lack of speed.
I don't think technically he's going to get that much better than he is now. He's not going to get faster. This is about as fast as he's going to get. So once you start hitting your later 20s, I don't think you're quite as quick as you were and fast as you were when you were in your like 18 to 24 range. But that's, again, this is a generality. So, all right, Reggie Cannon. Yeah, he's hit the ceiling.
Yeah.
I think that's it. In fact,
I think what we've seen is what we can expect from him.
Yeah, I mean the glows really come off for Reggie, but I think he's still serviceable, and I think he'll be fine at Boa Vista. They seem to have decided to hold on to him. So Walker Zimmerman, ceiling done.
Yeah, and as Conrad said, Zimmerman knows that this is his one chance to a World Cup, and he's busting his balls, which he is.
Yeah.
But yeah, we know exactly what we're going to get from Zimmerman.
And yeah, that's what makes him George Bello.
I feel like we're going to disagree here because you've already stated this one point.
I have. I said he's pretty much done.
You said he's pretty much his ceiling. I think he has a lot. I think he has quite a bit room to grow because he didn't really start. In my opinion, he hasn't really started at that high of a spot.
Okay, well, here's the thing with me. Here were the expectations for George Bello.
Sure.
Here's where he is, and here's how he went. Straight. Nothing. He never did this. He got closer to the expectations most people had for him. And I see nothing but the same George Bello I watched 2 years ago. I don't see any difference.
Well, now he's in Bundesliga 2, and let's see how he develops moving forward.
And he's been the same.
I think Atlanta, he would have been the exact same player that he was for the past couple of years.
He's gone to Germany. He's the exact same player we saw at
Atlanta. He's been there for half a season, and there was in a team that was being relegated.
And
so
now
I'm just saying, let's see what happens when the Bundesliga 2 season starts. If he starts getting minutes,
it's
let's
already
see how he develops.
It's already started.
Okay, so there may be one game into it. That's not a season, a career-ending description here.
He's not a starter on the 2 Bundesliga team he's on.
Okay,
he's not a starter.
And he may not be. And you may be right. He may have hit his ceiling. I'm just saying, at 20 years old, he's on a Bundesliga 2 team at this point. I feel like he's going to get minutes if he can perform. And I'm not saying he will, but I'm saying if he can perform, then maybe we've seen a ceiling at this point moving forward. I don't know.
I think George Bello hit a ceiling 4 years ago.
And this is the funny part that we always talk about when we talk about prospects, predicting them at like 16, 17 years old. And we're saying like, oh, this guy's going to be great. And then we see them at 20 and they continue to flame out from there. I'm not saying that Bello will flame out, but I am saying that we have a lot of history of prospects that do exactly this.
I'm predicting he's flaming out. That's my prediction. I'm predicting he doesn't start regularly for the whole season in Bundesliga 2 for Arminia Bielefeld. Just saying. I'm making the prediction. If I'm wrong,
you might be right. And 4 years from now, when George Bello is starting for an EPL side, it's winning Champions League, Cole Tripp can come back here and tell you you're done.
He can if he wants to. But he better expect it. I'm going to give as much as he gives. All right. Tyler Adams. We already had this discussion.
Yeah, we already talked about Adams. I don't think he's hit his ceiling, and we'll see what happens moving forward.
We already talked about Yunus Musa, too.
Yep.
We think
definitely not hit his ceiling.
No.
Yeah, he has so much room to grow moving forward here, yeah.
Yeah. Weston McKennie's an interesting one. He's already so good.
He's when he's healthy, he's a consistent starter for one of the top teams in Italy. Now, mind you, not necessarily of recent because they've undergone a lot of changes, but over the past 2 years, he's been one of the more consistent players for Juve. To say he's hit a ceiling, I think he can improve some on his tactical aspect.
Yeah,
technical to that point, but. He's still playing at a high level. He's still playing as a high level. He's just
already at such a high level. It's hard to see him getting better. I guess he could get more healthier and stop getting fucking that same left shoulder injury. That would be great. So I guess, I'm going to give him a smidge. I'm giving him a smidge.
But that's also not to say that him hitting his ceiling is a bad thing.
No, because he's already...
If you're playing at a top level and you hit your ceiling... Who fucking who,
Exactly. The ceiling's already so high where he's at that if the ceiling raises, that's just amazing. If he gets, if he keeps getting even, like on the FIFA, let's say he's an 89 and then somehow it becomes a 90 and then a 91, that would be fantastic. But I don't think, he's going to get above that 91 point. But I do think there's room to move from 89 to 91. Chris Fairburn. Keaton Parks was one of those prospects. Where did he end up going? Well, we know where he is, NYCFC.
Yeah.
But I just don't know. Greg doesn't rate him. I think it was in one pre-camp. I was pretty high on him. So I guess that makes me dumb because obviously Greg doesn't agree with me.
I'm kind of surprised that he hasn't been included in any maybe outside of was he included in a Camp Cupcake? I don't recall.
I thought he was.
I'm kind of surprised he hasn't been included at all.
Yeah, me too.
But me too. To Chris's point, Keaton received a lot of hype. When
he was in Portugal, yeah.
Yeah, when he was younger and everything like that. This guy was just the limit. It could have gone anywhere. But this is the problem with predicting with youth talent. We were talking about that with Bello earlier, which is why he brought this up.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think Keaton can still offer something to the U.S. men's national team. Where he fits in as a whole compared to the rest of the team is questionable. But I still like him. I still would like to see him give a chance.
Mm-hmm. Well, we'll see. That the problem is the most packed area of talent that we have right now with Musa, McKennie, Adams, Luca De La Torre, those four. Listen, you could replace Christian Roldan with fucking Keaton Parks, and I think that would be a plus. But hate to agree with this Cole feller, but yeah, Zimmerman has gotten better. Oh, did he say Zimmerman got better? I mean, he did.
This is what he's
like a year ago.
So Zimmerman's ceiling, didn't he get that 4 to Pulisic? And Derek would have said the same before that BS. That is how much his opinion is worth.
Oh, shut up, Cole.
You got somebody riding your cock, man.
I know, man. He's trying to fuck me in the asshole.
Jose, as far as Zimmerman getting better, I honestly have not seen it.
I haven't either.
I think Zimmerman has been pretty solid. Has been a solid MLSer for whatever, like 3 or 4 years.
I think he's been really this good for a long time. He was that good for FC Dallas. He was certainly good when he went to LA. Then he's not bad now for Nashville. If we say somebody's hit their ceiling, doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how Zimmerman gets better. Somebody shoots him. He starts doing steroids, or he
gets an injection with the Hulk's blood. I guess I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, his dick grows longer because he took new drugs or whatever. I don't know how he gets better. He's good now. I mean, I don't know.
He's a solid center back.
At his age, I don't think much is changing. I'm sorry. You guys can fuck me up the ass all you want. I don't care. But Zimmerman's is what he is. And I don't think he's getting much better. Now, does he perform well and then sometimes with Nashville not perform well, and then he has a good game, and some games he has an off game? He does that with the U.S. men's national team too.
Hey, he hasn't been perfect in the U.S. men's national team. I think he's been consistently good for the U.S. men's national team. But there have been ups and downs, more ups than downs.
Yes, he's been solid for us.
So, yeah.
I think people are misunderstanding what ceiling means.
Well, I mean, ceiling means ceiling's a different meaning for each player.
I mean, if you're a hobbit and you live in a 3-foot house, then your ceilings are kind of low. But, if you're a hobbit and you live in a 10-foot house, ceilings are higher and you might have more room to grow. All I'm saying is necessarily that sometimes hitting a ceiling is not everyone hits one.
Well,
but if you're an awesome player like Ronaldo, who hit his ceiling maybe, I don't know, a couple of years ago, maybe 3 years ago, he's still one of the best players in the world.
He's been consistent with that ceiling for a while now, for a long while. So here's a difference, guys. My ceiling as a professional soccer player is going to be lower than Pulisic's ceiling as a soccer player.
Right.
So, no, just because we say somebody's hit their ceiling or somebody is not going to get any better than what they are, that's not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, Zimmerman is a consistent performer for Nashville, but also for the national team.
Yeah, it's not a put down. So if you're taking it like that, then
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? You're not paying attention to the language we're using. All right.
Ceiling means, can he still get a lot better?
No. No, Zimmerman cannot get a lot better.
No.
And, for the players that we think can still get a little itsy bitsy better, we've been pretty specific about that. And then we've talked about players who have hit their ceiling and maybe are on their way down, like Yedlin. So, I mean, we've been pretty specific. This isn't even as crazy Nostradaming as some of the other stuff we've done. This is all pretty rational discussion.
There's an example.
Steph Curry,
put these in more common terms. Steph Curry peaked like 5 years ago.
Yes.
But that's an MVP, and he's still at that level.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, we're just basically saying that you're not going to get any better. Now, mind you, you can take a look at that player, and you can say, well, Long's hit his ceiling. Well, McKinney's just almost hit a ceiling. When you're looking at those two different players, like, well, that it doesn't mean the exact same thing. Yeah. The player, where the player is currently is in comparison to their ceiling is what we're referring to.
It's kind of fun having an antagonist in the. We don't usually have an antagonist because depending on how much I drink, I might rip him a new asshole. But tonight it's been fun.
Cole, Derek is saying that he wants you here every Monday and Thursday.
Yes, come on, Cole, bring it. I like having an antagonist on the show. It's cool. Luca De La Torre.
Yeah.
I think he's still got room to grow. And people are going to say, well, on the finishing thing, well, it's not his fault that his teammates couldn't finish last season, but I would like to see him score some actual goals too.
Yeah, he really just strikes me as the type of midfielder that wants to set things up, distribute, move things forward, and set things up. Not necessarily getting goal scoring opportunities, although he's been in those positions from time to time. He definitely needs to improve on that. He's talked about that too, his finishing product. That's one thing that he talked about needing to improve on.
He needs to practice his outside the box shots too.
Yeah, absolutely, because that's where he's going to get his opportunities from, and especially taking into consideration not necessarily this World Cup, but talking about Nations League and World Cup qualifying. You're as a midfielder with the U.S. men's national team, you're going to have to start taking shots from outside the box.
Yes,
you can't keep trying to hope to God that you can get these out wide inside and hope we poke it in there. It's not going to happen.
So I give him like this much of growth potential at this point. I'd say there's some real room there for him to get better at certain things. And if he wants to work on it, he can and does work on it, he will get better at them. Mm-hmm. And we'll see how he does in Spain. That might be something that inspires him too, because he's going to have to fight for a spot this year. Yep. Rogelio, I agree. He still has room to grow, but he can add goal scoring to his game. Yes.
100%. Yes.
We agree. Yeah. Christian Roldan has hit a ceiling.
But does he? That's the question.
Does he fuck tens? Who?
Well, we're talking about Lucas, I imagine.
I don't know about his personal life and whether or not Bo Derek's involved. That's for the old schoolers out there because she was in a movie called The Perfect 10. Christian Roldan, we can move on from. He's hit a ceiling. Do we really?
No room to talk. Yeah, I'm with you on that though.
and the ceiling was about right here. All right, and he's hit it. And he's not contributing. Kellen Acosta, he might get a little better, but I doubt it. Kellen Acosta, who he is at this point.
Yeah, what we see with Acosta is what we're expecting at this point.
But I
don't see it improving.
I'd say his usefulness and his ceiling are a bit higher than Roldan's, even though that doesn't seem to pan out in the MLS season where Roldan in the system he plays in. So you can blame it on Greg's system if you want to, why Roldan doesn't stand out when he plays for Greg. But Roldan's just not the same player with the national team that he is with the Sounders. Yeah. Whereas Kellen Acosta is a better player for the national team than he is for his club. Makes sense of that. I don't get it, but that's how it is. That's how it's been.
We're going to skip Malik Tillman because that's an obvious one.
Yeah,
he's got room to grow. He's barely been a professional.
We don't even know at this point. His ceiling could be the sky for all we know. Ariel is done. He is who he is.
Yeah, he is who he is.
Jesus Ferreira, I might give a little bit of leeway on, much.
Yeah, as a whole, taking a look at him as a player, he's a pretty solid 10 type of player. Setting things up, assisting. He can definitely. Mind you, even though he's on the contention for the Golden Boot in MLS right now, he can definitely improve his goal scoring ability at the national team level.
And again, I'm not blaming that all on Ferreira, although
I'm not either. He's had some pussyfoot shots, but
yes, he has. But Greg's system doesn't seem to help any of our nines.
My God! I mentioned this over a year ago, and I got harped on it nonstop.
Oh, do you have that guy calling you dumb?
Yeah,
you're dumb.
What are you talking about? He got Zardes to do this at the club level, and he did this and this and this and this. I'm like, it's not replicating. It's not replicating at the national level. I don't care what he did in the past.
Yeah. Pulisic, we already had this discussion.
He's got room to grow.
Earlier, Brendan Aronson, man, all that guy does do is grow.
All he's doing is grow. Yeah.
He's like John Holmes. That motherfucker, all he does is grow. So, and he's just getting it on. He's just starting. He's just getting excited and titillated. Just wait till he's fully aroused. All right. Jordan Morris. Yeah, I think he's on his way down, although his ceiling was decent. It was decent. But all those injuries, it just doesn't look like he's going to fully come back and be the Jordan Morris we remember. And plus, he's going to turn 28 soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting up there for the guy that used to be the fastest guy on the pitch. He's no longer that guy. He's no longer the fastest guy on the pitch. Haji Wright, there's some room there. There's some room.
Yeah, we'll see what he does in Turkey again. I mean, he obviously had a very solid fucking season. Let's see if he can duplicate. Let's see if he can improve. Because he scored like a handful of goals at the beginning of the season, and a handful of goals at the end of the season. But then there was like a dead zone in the middle of the season.
Yeah, and we'll see how Greg. Yeah, if Greg gives him a pass,
he's not going to get another look. He's done this cycle.
Let's see. I'm just going to say for the mud game, he needs a pass for that. That was not fair.
Yes, no, I agree 100%. I don't think Greg's going to give him another shot, though. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're probably right.
So I'm thinking under Greg, he's under this cycle he's done. Again, because you talk about how most likely it's very possible that Greg's back after the World Cup.
Mm-hmm.
If Greg's back after the World Cup, he could give Wright he'll likely give Wright another chance.
Yeah.
I just think this cycle, we're going to be looking at like Pepe, Jesus, and maybe Pfach at this point.
All right.
Under him, because he's going to go with what he feels kind of comfortable with. Or no third. That's another option. No third 9.
Pfach certainly has the best opportunity.
Yeah.
With Union Berlin. He's obviously going to be their starter. So Timothy Weah, still, I think he can get a little bit better. Not a lot, but I think he's got room to grow a little bit. So I'm going to say he's still got the ceiling's still there above his head, and he's still hitting for it. So
hold on before you get into Cole's comment here. As far as Weah is concerned, I mean, he definitely has room to grow. But I mean, he's a very direct striker / winger, and he can improve on certain aspects. But saying that he's not that far off his ceiling isn't saying anything bad about him by any means. I mean, it's still pretty high ceiling. It's just I think he's getting. I don't know. He's got a lot of promise, but I'm not sure if we're not seeing where his ceiling's at.
I think we're getting close to it. And that's not a bad thing because he's been one of the best wingers we've had. So if this is all he's got, it's been pretty goddamn good so far. Cool trip. LDLT won't play for Celta. Sucks. Fucking shit. But it is what it is. I just filled in.
It sucks that but it's that. But fuck it. That's what it is. So yeah, I've seen a number of people say this, and it's possible. It's possible he made that move over to Celta and just doesn't see playing time at all, and that would suck royal.
Oh, that would be horrible for him. So bad move if that happens. But I do have some faith that he'll get some minutes, even if it's like 15 minutes, off the bench.
I think he'll eventually prove himself. And this is the issue that a lot of Yanks have to do when they move to new clubs. I mean, players in general have to make that move, but when the club goes out and signs you, most likely they're willing to give you that shot. But well, no, every team that Bradley went to, he had to prove himself, obviously. But then every manager he got, he had to prove himself again. That type of thing.
For a guy who fucking hates this conversation and think it's the dumbest thing in the world, I do appreciate, Cole, that you are participating in it.
Yeah.
With your own Nostradamusing. All right. We appreciate that. You've lowered your guard. You said, this is the dumbest conversation in the world, but I'm going to interact and be a part of it. I appreciate that. That takes gumption. That takes gumption. That takes balls. That's like, hey, this is a dumb fucking conversation, but I want to be a part of it.
Yep.
Regalio.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, he'll prove himself. Just you wait, don't underestimate. I mean, I'm not.
It was the exact same story a year ago. People are like, why are everybody so high on LDLT? What? Mm-hmm. No goals, no assists, and he's playing for a relegation-bound Dutch side that would fare horribly in MLS. And you know what? There are those of us that were sitting there going, yeah, but he's a solid fucking player, and he's going to contribute.
And he's the best player on their team.
Yeah, he's going to contribute to the national team, and I think he's going to get his chance at Celta at some point, even if it's bit minutes. and he may perform. Now that he might not necessarily get more playing time. He might just get playing time regardless. But I think he'll get his shots.
Did you ever play against a team, right? Let's say in high school. We'll use that as an example. You play against this team, right? And you're killing them like 6-0 or 5-0. And there's one guy on the other team that's an actual really good player. And you're like, I feel so sorry for that guy because his teammates are awful. This is the worst team, but that guy could play on our team. I just feel bad for that guy. That's who Luca De La Torre was last year.
It was funny because my nephews played for Warren here in Indy. For like one of my nephews played all 4 years. The other one played for 2 years and then transferred to a different high school because of the bullshit.
You say Warren Central?
Warren Central, yeah.
Okay.
And on that team, mind you, the coach was an absolute dumb shit, and he played my eldest nephew, my brother's eldest son, as a winger, or sorry, as a back, kind of a wing back esque, but he was absolutely an outside winger and had far better control and far better distribution and crosses than the actual winger that played in front of him. But the coach was dumb shit. Regardless, there was one kid that played striker for the team at the time, and you could sit there and look, and he's like super fucking talented kid.
Yeah.
And he's on a team that plays rec or less, like literally like made just play out in the backyard. And this is Warren Central. Warren Central was a top solid team here in Indy. But they've dropped off hardcore. And this kid, you just see it. Like he put in like 40% effort, and he was still absolutely stellar. But it was so frustrating watching him put 40% in there.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
And then Luca De La Torre, I mean, in comparison, did not give 40%. No. He gave 100.
Busted his ass, yeah.
And in fact, I believe someone came out with a stat that Luca De La Torre had the most set-up goals, assists, failures than any other player in the Belgian league because his fucking forwards were that stupid and shitty. They were bad. Go watch the videos. There's some videos you can watch of Luca De La Torre on YouTube and all the setups he made and great passes he made, and they just fucked them all up, except for one.
It was unreal watching that shit. Again, I couldn't watch the games live, but I watched the highlights and just watching him just distribute these nice balls into the box, and you're just like, how did he not put that away?
Finish it, you fuckwads. Got the worst forwards in the league, probably. All right. Worst. Oh, wow. We still got all these fuckers to go.
Yeah. Let's we'll have to hammer through because we're at 123 right now.
All right. Zach Steffen, I don't know. Probably maybe
I'm calling ceiling.
Really?
I'm calling ceiling.
I think it's a confidence thing, but
It could be a confidence. I might be wrong. I may be 100% wrong here, and he may prove to be a significant better goalkeeper once he starts getting playing time.
Yeah, we'll see.
That's very true. Very true. I'm not gonna not disagree with that.
Solinina, early, huge.
I mean, of course, his ceiling's higher. No, that's stupid.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Polskamp, I think he is who he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he might get a little better, but I don't know. Brad Guzon's done.
37 years old. Shit. Yeah.
Shaq Moore's hit his ceiling. He's done.
Yep.
Miles Robinson has some growth to go still, I think. As a younger starting center back. I give him like 3 more years of growth, actually. Maybe 2.
It'll be interesting to see because I wonder how much more he's going to be able to grow at Atlanta.
Yeah,
will he stagnate? And then again, he's been a pretty consistent player for the national team. He's had some ups and downs, but will he stagnate at Atlanta at this point? Can he improve anymore? I don't know.
Yeah, I think he needs a move. I'd agree with you. Dest.
No, he has room to grow absolutely in the defensive side of the game.
Yes, he does. The question is, will he take that seriously at some point? I hope he does.
Just because his ceiling's higher doesn't mean he's actually going to meet that ceiling.
Yeah.
So I'm saying yes, higher ceiling, room to grow.
Will he do it? Will he do it? That's the question. Mark McKenzie, I think he's where he's going to be.
Yeah, obviously he's young and he's got time on his hands to grow and develop. Will he? I don't know. He's not really a consistent player for Genk. We thought he was going to, because they're going to sell off their number one center back or whatever. You were talking about that a lot.
Yeah.
But will he?
Belgian season has started, and he rode pine for 90. I don't know, and that's how it was last season. He played 2 games, then not play for 3 games, then play for 2 games, then not play for 2 games. It was fucking weird. And then I watched some of those games, and I got to tell you, I was not that impressed. So I just think he's where he's at. I think that's what he's going to be. If he proves me wrong, I will send him a birthday cake. Chris Richards' ceiling, I think, is still high. We're going to find out more this season. I think he's got a lot of room to grow.
He's got absolutely. We're seeing the development he's had so far in just a handful of seasons with Hoffenheim.
Do you think Mark McKenzie could play for Hoffenheim?
No. Not right now, at least. Yeah, maybe later on as he's developed.
And he's older than Richards.
Yeah,
and he can barely start for Genk. All right, Brooks Lennon, he's finished. When I say he's finished, doesn't mean it's bad. It just means he's not growing anymore. And he's got Dwan Jones, I think, has some room to grow. I think a little bit.
We've barely seen him. We've only seen him at New England. I would love to see him get an opportunity next cycle, just at the beginning, to see what he can do.
Mm-hmm.
Even at call-up, because if you get a call-up and he just doesn't get time and doesn't get called back up, then okay, maybe we have seen his ceiling. But I mean, what we've seen at New England, he's a viable option.
He's just got better from the last 3 years. Every year he's got better. So I think, I mean, if he continues to get better and he goes to Europe somewhere and he becomes like Yedlin did at Sunderland or something like that, I think, there's some room to grow. Kobe Henry, I mean, it's off the.
Who fucking knows at this point?
Who knows?
I would imagine he's not in his ceiling by any means.
Let's see how he does.
I haven't seen enough of him. I need to see more.
Let's see how he does with Remsby.
Yeah.
So Henry Kessler is done. Justin Che. He should have some more growth left in him.
Absolutely. No, he absolutely has a higher ceiling to go at this point.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine him hitting his ceiling at this point.
No, I think
given the amount of hype and the little bit I've seen of him, there's no way.
And his confidence in himself, I think he's going to be fine. Jonathan Gomez, again, ceiling unknown, but above his head for sure.
Absolutely, yes. He's got room to grow. Definitely.
Reynolds might be finished.
There's talks of him inking his stay. What, in Belgium is it?
Westerlo, yeah. I don't think he's not a starter on Westerlo. He's not going to be one. I don't think.
We'll see what happens. I mean, there's just rumors. I mean, I'm not saying that anything's written in stone by any means.
So far, not so good at Westerlo. Kevin Paredes, again, higher.
Yes, again, we're talking about these 18, 19-year-old center backs or even just backs. They've definitely got room to grow. Again, whether or not they hit their ceiling is up in the air. But they've definitely they've garnered interest. They've proven themselves enough to get a look in Europe. And again, there's room to grow.
Che or Gomez is difficult. They're definitely different players. Che can play center back or right back. Gomez is a left back. So his position in general for teams across the world is more important. Left backs are the rarest things. Like, they're the hardest thing to find. So, yeah, that's a hard thing to answer right now. I mean, I'm going to say Che, but it's a close call. It really is a close call.
Mm-hmm.
Music friend, is this going to be a music question?
No.
Where's the Twitter troll season ticket holder that said he forgot more of his soccer games memory than you ever even known? I don't know. I mean,
he's never in our chat.
Yeah, he used to be, but he is in our comment section on YouTube often, I think. Reynolds moved too soon, but he will prove them wrong, and I don't know who Reynolds is. What? You don't know who he is, but you're going to say he's going to...
He moved too soon, but he will prove them wrong, and I don't know who Reynolds is.
Reynolds is. All right, maybe...
Oh, you're playing me here, man.
I think Cole's tripping. All right.
It's definitely possible that he moved too soon, and quite frankly, the move was just wrong.
Mm-hmm.
He moved to Roma, which is going to be a hard fight up, and obviously with the managerial shift, he was never going to find playing time. So again,
and we called that.
He'll have a chance to get playing time, and he'll get at least time to develop, and we'll see where he falls, where his ceiling ends up. I suspect it's higher. I've liked what I've seen from him. I just need to see him develop more.
I haven't liked everything I've seen from him.
I didn't say everything. I liked what I've seen from him.
I've not liked a lot of what I've seen from him. So just me. Sam Vines. Sam Vines had a hell of a game last weekend. Scored a goal. Superstar. I think he's hit a ceiling, though. I think he is who he is. I think by 23, 24, you are who you are.
Sure.
Do I look more handsome? Thank you, Juan. Yeah.
Did you upgrade your camera?
It is nice to know that my camera being not upgraded, which it isn't, it just better lighting, which actually shows my face, and people think I am somewhat handsomer. That
was the big concern earlier, man. Derek, you need to do something with lighting. I was like, I don't think people want to see my face. That's all he said all the time.
I'm 51 years old, people. I mean, how handsome
Derek, where's the confidence? I know people come here to see this. You need to have that confidence too.
Oh, I don't give a shit about it at all at this point. I've had my fun.
My wife always talks about it. She goes, if I just had a quarter of your confidence, I wouldn't be married to you.
Yeah. And you know what? Confidence is very important. And unfortunately, Brett and I are extremely confident people. I don't know. Maybe
I just don't care what other people think. That's my thing.
I know. The more you can do that,
whatever.
Yeah, the more you can do that. All right, let's go down. John Brooks is not going to play, but he certainly hit his ceiling. Yeah. Bream is on his way down.
He's hit his ceiling.
But it's not a bad ceiling.
No, here's the thing, though. He was never a fast center back.
No. And then
he's hit his ceiling, but is he really on the decline? I mean, he's on the decline just in general that he's 34 and he may not have a few more. He may have a few more seasons ahead of him.
Definitely slower than he was when he was in his 20s.
Okay, I'll give you that much.
Yeah, he's definitely slower. John Brooks, same thing. Had a high ceiling, hit that ceiling. It was a good ceiling, but obviously Greg doesn't like him. Donovan Pines, I think that's smoke in the wind. I think that's all that is. He's
yeah, man. He had a rough debut for the Gold Cup during the Gold Cup, man.
That was
not
yeah.
That was circumstances, of course, but that was not the debut that you wanted.
And it's not so much that, it's that. All right, he's 24.
Yeah.
All right, show more. Mihailovic been impressive and growing the last 2 seasons. I have to give him props and say I don't know how high his ceilings is, but it's probably pretty good. And you're right, Pines is terrible for DC. So
definitely,
that was
Jordan. Yeah.
Let me finish my Vines thing.
Sorry.
The Vines thing, he got that little hype thing for a while when DC was doing okay, but it was premature ejaculation.
Yeah.
Okay. So.
Georgie has definitely grown, especially after leaving Chicago.
Yeah.
No, you give a creative midfielder the opportunity to be creative in the midfield rather than just thrusting him out wide. No, he was definitely misused in Chicago. I think since going to Montreal, he's definitely grown and developed. I would love to see him get a chance in Europe at this point. And I would love to see him get a chance for the national team, but he needs to stay healthy in that situation.
How smart were Montreal and how dumb are Chicago?
Well, yes and yes. So Montreal offered Chicago $1 million in Gamtam.
Yep.
And coming from a guy who's not performing that well at Chicago, he's okay, but not exceedingly, not $1 million Gamtam.
He was well thought of, but yeah. So, not $1 million.
You get that thrown at you, and you're just like, here you go, And yes, in hindsight, if Chicago played him like Montreal's playing him as an offensive-minded central midfielder, then yes, they could have definitely seen some benefits from it. But I think the million game TAM was too good to pass. Now, mind you, they misused it, but that's neither here nor there.
You guys need to clear out a lot of dumb fuckers running Chicago Fire right now. That's all I got to say.
It's
and it's been going on.
I'm hoping it's on the up and up. We'll see.
It's been going on for 10 years plus. This needs to end at some point.
Well, the new manager, we've only had 1 year so far, so we'll see what's happening.
I'm talking about the people running the team.
I'm hoping that the manager's clearing house to some extent. I don't know enough about the front office to know anything. Obviously, the managerial staff got a shift, and we're seeing a mid.
Brett, that's been happening for over.
This has turned into the Chicago Fire podcast.
This has happened for 10 years in Chicago. The managers change, the fucking management has not changed that much, and they're still failures. That means
Derek, have you looked at the front office? Do you know if the front office has changed?
You're
speculating.
I'm speculating. I'm not a fucking Fire fan, but I have listened to other Fire fans bitch about it. So,
yes, under the previous owner, it was absolute shit. We saw some slight improvements the previous season, but it fizzled out real fast.
Yeah.
I don't know.
All right.
I'm always optimistic. This is the year that we're going to make the playoffs.
Nope. Busio, done.
This is where we're going to disagree again.
I'm calling.
I don't think he's hit a ceiling. No.
I don't know what anybody sees in this guy. I watched him play at Venezia. He wasn't that good. I watched him play for U.S. men's national team. He wasn't that good. I watched him play at SKC. He wasn't that great. I think he is a middling sort of second division fucking midfielder in Italy. And I'm sorry, but I guess I've been watching him too long, and that's just, I'm calling it. And again, if I'm wrong, I'll suck eggs or eat crow or whatever you want. I'm just telling Busio's done.
I think at Sporting he was used all over the place and just never really excelled.
Excuses.
That's all I got.
And then he never fit in any of those places for the most part. He played them all over because they couldn't figure out where he was good. And guess what? He's not good anywhere.
He's good where he excelled. I would say he's still a good player, just not a great player. I'm not saying that he's going to have
he's an MLS
McKinney
quality
or
player.
Adams even ceiling by any means. I just don't think he's hit a ceiling yet.
All right, so you're giving him like a clitoris worth of improvement.
I think he's going to continue to develop, and he could be a serviceable midfield backup.
People have been saying that for 3 years about him. He's the same player he was 2 years ago. He's not gotten any better.
He's only really been in contention for the U.S. men's national team for like the past year period.
Yeah, that's because
he's 20 years old.
But
I'm not discrediting the fact that you're able to look at a player and say, like, I don't see him growing that much more. And I'm not saying you're going to be wrong. It's very possible that Busio does not actually produce into the player that everybody was hoping. By all means, history is on your side in that situation.
Hell yeah, it is. And I'm calling
I'm not discrediting that. I'm just saying that Busio has room to grow, and I think he's going to grow.
I'm just going to say if he grows, it's going to be very small, and that makes him just a very efficient MLS player at best. And we'll see how he does at Venezia. And if he starts in Serie B this season, because I'm not even sure about that at this point, honestly. So, is that a metric? It is. There is a average size of a clitoris. That's what we're using.
I mean, when you start getting in too large of a clitoris, it's just a small dick.
It is. It's kind of weird. James Sands. Not ready to make a declaration about James Sands.
And it's funny that he's in the midfield in this situation.
But
he played very little for the national team in the midfield.
I don't think he's going to get that much better. I think he's not hit a ceiling, but I think he'll get a smidge better, but not much more.
I think he'll remain a serviceable option at best. So, yes, I'm agreeing with you on that situation. I don't think he's going to improve too drastically to say that he has not hit a ceiling yet. I think he may at least with Rangers and possibly Champions League time, he might improve on his speed of play. But I think we're seeing basically what we see from him.
And then Jose Lopez asks, how can you say Adams has room to grow? I think he does. But 20-year-old Busio is done. Come on, fight me, Derek. But, yeah, I don't think he'll ever be elite. And that's my point. I think that sometimes, okay, here's the thing. Sometimes you look at a player, he's 20 years old, and you just know that player, based on his mentality and his ability to adjust, just isn't going to get any better than this. And it's more about a mentality and ability to adjust. Look at Aronson. Look at his ability to adjust to whatever environment he goes to. Mm-hmm. Now, Busio started out the season at Venezia, and I think he adjusted pretty well. But it didn't take him very long to sit the bench. And it didn't take him very long to have, who's the other American there? Tessman start over him.
Yeah.
So, and people are going to say, oh, yeah, but he played like 2 seasons in a row and he was tired and all that. That's not what I saw when I watched the Venezia games, and I watched a lot of them, as many as I could. I just saw a guy that just was getting out-muscled, out-pushed, out-thought, and outplayed on a general basis for Venezia.
And I'll say the two seasons straight argument works if you're a player that's picked up a knock and you're playing through knocks and injuries that consistently develop. I don't recall Busio necessarily having a series of injuries throughout that time period. Because you're even if you play 2 seasons straight, you still have time throughout the week to recuperate. That's part of your club's responsibility, is to make sure that you have all that you need to in order to recover for the next week. The 2 seasons seems more of a mental issue at that point. Like, oh my God, I've been playing for so fucking long.
Busio had plenty of time on the bench to rest.
There you go. Look at that.
He wrote it. So can't see who Busio is going to pass on the U.S. men's national team roster.
Roldan.
Well, that's because Roldan's going to die of old age. But that's about it.
Yeah, Busio does have age on his side, doesn't he?
Tessman's got a higher ceiling than Busio. I'm just telling you. I wish it were different, but I never believed. I think Tessman's
ceiling might be a little higher, strictly based off the physical aspects as well, because he's going to be able to play that at that level. He's a little bit better.
He's an athletic specimen whose technical abilities are only getting better each year, and I think Busio's stagnant. I have not seen any growth from him. Not really. Nothing that gets me hard. All right, Leget's done. In fact, he's trending downward.
He's off to Dallas, isn't he?
I don't know.
He's gonna revitalize his career at Dallas.
What the hell's Dallas doing with Ariel, Leget? It's weird.
They want U.S. men's national team 2.0.
It's a reunion.
0.2.
Reunion from the team from 2 years ago. Jackson Yule.
Yeah,
fuck it, he's done.
Yeah. I think we all predicted a ceiling way higher than what it should have been. Not all of us, I guess, but
I liked him in the Olympics. Okay, that's about it.
Okay. So I liked him in the Olympics. Okay, against Honduras, that goal was phenomenal. He was mediocre throughout the rest of it.
That's true. That's true. I'll give you that.
He had a couple good games early on with the national team. I would say good. Something I wasn't like, he was awful in that game,
Yeah. Cole Bassett, hard to say.
Yeah, he just notched the game-winning goal for Feyenoord, didn't he?
He did. Yeah. So it's hard to say. That's a guy to keep an eye out on. I think he's got room to grow.
I would like to say that his ceiling is still higher than him.
Yes.
Which he's like, what is he, like 5'6"? He's got.
Yeah.
That doesn't say.
Cardoso. Again, hard to say, but I'm going to give him room to grow. Not a lot, but some.
Yeah, I still need to see more from him as a whole with the national team.
I need to see him be a regular or a every other game starter for international.
I guess I'm having some brain fog on him. How consistent is he at international?
Right now, he's back to just being a bench 10, 15-minute kind of guy for them. So it's not bad at the age of 20, but I'm just saying I need to see him become a starter for international before
100% agree.
Before my panties get wet. Eric Williamson, a really solid player.
I like him a lot.
He's been injured a lot, so it's been really hard to fucking figure out where his ceiling is because he's really good on the attack too.
Prior to his injury, I rated him higher in the Gold Cup than Busio.
Yes,
100%.
I agree.
Now, mind you, Busio does have 5 years. His 5 years is younger, but I thought Williamson was going to be a great watch, and then he got that injury, and that just sucked. I mean, season-ending injury. He's just coming back this year. I don't know. We'll see what happens next cycle, I guess.
All right. We got to burn through these. PFOC. I don't think his ceiling is much higher, but I think the ceiling is high already. But he knows who he is, and he's going to do what he can do. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to say, ceiling met, but that's not a bad thing.
It's not. He knows the kind of player he is. He's very smart.
The Brian McBride argument all over again.
He is Brian McBride.
Yeah.
He is. That's what he is. Giovanni Reina, well, fucking through the roof.
Moving on.
Yes. Ricardo Pepi, I'd like to think through the roof, but I'm waiting to see. And I
don't think he's met a ceiling yet.
No, he has.
He definitely has room to grow, tactically, technically, and everything. So I think he's going to develop more. Now, I don't know what his situation in Augsburg is going to be in the end. He might find his way back to MLS, and he may never achieve his ceiling. Don't know.
Yeah, that's going to be – that one's so up in the air. It's crazy. Zardes is done. He's actually going down. Taylor Booth.
People are still talking about him being a dark horse for the World Cup.
It ain't happening. I know Greg. I know Greg brought him up, but no.
Nope.
In a recent interview, but he's done. Taylor Booth. I'm not sure exactly yet. I need more time.
He needs a consistent club time right now. I mean, he was playing in Austria, right? It was Austria?
Yep. And he did well.
He did well. So he was getting some friendlies and some preseasons with Bayern. Now I don't know where he's at now.
Yeah, I thought they agreed to a loan, but it's not on here. So.
Yeah, well, it's Wiki, so you can't take Wiki serious. But yeah, no, I definitely a higher ceiling. I just, again, it's one of those situations. We'll see if he actually meets the ceiling.
Now we're getting to a couple young players who are so young. It's like, of course they're going to grow.
Yeah.
Caden Clark's going to grow. The problem with Caden Clark is more between his ears than it is his skill.
So both with Caden Clark and Cade Cowell, let's throw them on both in the same scenario here. They have room to grow. Absolutely. They're going to develop.
Clark more than Cowell. Cowell is Jordan Morris
2.0. Yeah.
2.0.
Now, I will say, again, this may be one of those scenarios where they never meet the expectations. They never get anywhere near their ceiling by any means. And maybe they just fizzle out as middling MLS players. You never know when we're talking about young players.
Can I make this?
You make it. Just make it.
Caden Clark has the potential to be Brendan Aronson, and Cade Cowell has the potential to be Jordan Morris. And that's about where I see both of them at their tops.
I wouldn't say Brendan Aronson for Caden Clark by any means, primarily because they are completely different styles of just pace in general. Oh,
I agree that Aronson is faster.
Yeah.
But I still think Caden Clark has the skills. And could he get faster? He could by age 20, 21.
Got it. A little bit at most.
A little bit.
I doubt it'll be any different from how he's playing now.
He could put on a little bit more muscle too.
Sure.
I don't know.
True.
I think he'll probably is under Aronson's, definitely under Aronson's ceiling. I'll agree with you on that. And I think Cade Cowell will be lucky to achieve as much.
Where do you think? You brought up Brendan? What do you think? Just because they're teammates now? Where do you think he falls in contention to Paxton?
Paxton,
to Caden. Where does Caden fall with Paxton?
I actually do rate Paxton higher than I do Clark at this point.
I do too. I was curious if that was the case. If you brought up Brendan Aronson, like he could be Brendan Aronson. I'd settle for the fact that he could at least be Paxton Aronson at this point.
Well, I'm talking future.
Sure.
So I'm thinking
he could be angry, yes.
Caden Clark could become a pseudo Aronson type of player. Cade Cal will be lucky to be as good as Jordan Morris. That's my predictions, and I could be wrong.
And again, we talk about as good as Jordan Morris. Morris was very promising, very good up until his 2 fucking knee injuries.
Yes,
and we had this conversation. We had this conversation about Leggett.
Yep,
Leggett is still was still serviceable in the midfield under Berhalter as long as he played an attacking role for him, not necessarily a box to box.
Right.
But Leggett was a much more solid midfielder prior to his massive injury back in the last cycle.
I was a huge Leggett fan.
Huge from back in the day.
I know. I love Leggett. So I did know, as a Galaxy fan, after he came back from that knee injury, I did notice a difference. Yes. I noticed he could not cut as quickly. I noticed he was fine north to south, but west to east, not so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, agreed. Cal Morris 2.0. If he's lucky, if he gets there. Chris Fairbaum. I've heard a lot of Leeds fans hyping up Paxton, saying they were going to have both the brothers. I've heard that too. I haven't.
You're let's just say if it's the case, you're a Leeds fan and you just got done watching Brendan just run up your preseason, just
yeah.
And then you watch the U20s, or U23 World Cup / Olympics, and you see Paxton just flat out dominating in it, and you're just sitting there like, maybe.
Yeah, but I think people have to understand a few things about Paxton in comparison to his older brother. Paxton's much smaller, and he's much more dainty, and I don't know. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Just hit the fucking gym, man.
But he will need to hit the gym a little bit, or he's going to have to get a little bit quicker. He's going to have to get some Messi in him, because I mean he's good, but to take the big next step forward and actually play for the Philadelphia Union and be a starter, that's going to take some work on his end, and he's not there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And Caden Clark's not there for Red Bulls.
Paxton might benefit just from like the U20, the U23, or sorry, the U20 and Olympic qualifiers / upcoming U20s, and just bypass Philly altogether and move to Europe. I mean,
he might move to Europe,
but his limited time at Philly might not necessarily hamper his ability to move forward.
I don't think it's a good sign if you can't even play for the Philadelphia Union and then go to Europe. I just don't think that's a good sign. I think he needs to be a starter somewhere in MLS, the Union, preferably for him. I don't think you do not play. And think about how many years Busia was sort of an off and on player for SKC. And at least he played a whole season where he was the starter for SKC before he went overseas. It still didn't help him. I think Aronson, his older brother, Brendan, is the best example. Brendan broke into that starting lineup and was a star player at fucking the Union. Sure. That's when you move. And preferably at a young age, you're a star on your team. And
this could be the scenario why it might hurt him, quite frankly. They are first leagues.
They are. It's going to be hard to throw them on the pitch because you're doing well. Why replace what's going well right now?
Although I'm kind of surprised that they're not just giving him bit minutes consistently.
Well, he does get bit minutes, but it's not enough. And for a player as highly touted as a lot of the players on that U23 team were that qualified for the Olympics, barely any of them are regular starters on their teams. So call me when that happens, and then I'll start paying attention. You don't have to call me, actually, because I'll be paying attention. Matthew Hoppe.
Hey, Derek, have you watched this? Yes, I have. Stop talking to me, man.
Matthew Hoppe, I think his ceiling is better than Sargent's, Conrad's, DK's. I think Matthew Hoppe is the next Clint Dempsey, and if I'm wrong, slap me in the side of the ass, call me a bitch, bend me over.
Middlesbrough at this point. He needs playing time. I don't care what league he's in at this point.
I think what he did at Schalke for that brief time was enough for me to go, this guy's got some fucking potential. He's a rogue. He is a lone wolf. This guy will take your ass out. And unfortunately, he just hasn't got the chance.
His attitude and his performance in Gold Cup definitely persuaded me more than his time at Chalk. And not saying that his time at Chalk was bad. He definitely did some great things there too. But I started liking him a lot more during that Gold Cup.
I loved him in the Gold Cup.
Absolutely.
I loved his attitude. I loved everything about the ballsiness and the confidence in which he plays. And if one of the teams if Mallorca woke up, and they're going to get rid of him, obviously, because, his agent is already all over their ass saying, hey, you fucked us over last season. You said he would get minutes, and he didn't. So we're leaving. So we'll see about Hoppy, but I have only high hopes and a high ceiling for Matthew Hoppy.
Yep.
Josh Sargent, I think his balls are shriveled up figs.
Real quick, before we jump on the Sargent too much here, I mean, you maybe just finish it right there too, but Big Harry Jake says, how is the transfer coming? Oh, no, sorry. I moved on me. It was Chris Gary says, how is the transfer coming with Hoppy? Have you heard anything new?
Yeah, it's like a bukkake. He's just going to have to find the right suitor.
But I know there's still plenty of articles saying that Middlesbrough's interested and they're pursuing it.
Yes. But they got to get the right deal.
All right, and I had this highlighted for a while, but we kind of glossed over it with when we were talking about after we talked about Paxton.
I like McGlynn. I love his fucking corner kicks.
Yes, I thought McGlynn played pretty good during the U20s.
That's the corner kick kid, right?
No, McGlynn's the center midfielder, isn't he?
Okay, who is the corner kick guy?
That's center back. I'm spacing who the center back
Another
is.
Philly guy.
Somebody's got it in the chat. Bring it up.
Oh, that dude.
Center back that was just lacing those corner kicks. I talked about bringing him in just for the free kicks alone.
That guy, if he can play defense, he's got skills to pay the bills. That guy's got a lacing fucking. That guy's scary.
So McGlynn's a center mid who played center mid.
Yeah, he was all right. And I'm glad
he played pretty good. Daniel Craig, that's the guy you're talking about.
That's the dude with that fucking rocket.
Appreciate that, Graph.
Daniel Craig has got a rocket. Like, if the rest of his game actually comes together, that guy could be dangerous.
Brendan? So he's Gila said Brendan Craig, and then Graph's like, Brendan?
No, I don't think it's Brendan.
Is it Daniel? It's not Daniel Craig, because that's the actor, obviously.
That's the actor. But his last name is Craig.
Let's see. Union Craig. It is Brandon. Brandon Craig.
No shit.
Brandon. Like D-A-N. Brandon.
Everybody naming their kid Brendan,
Yeah.
Brandon.
I would love to have 007 in the midfield. That'd be great. No, but McGlynn ran the midfield for a number of games. And mind you, of course, our U20s shuffled everybody around, like throughout the tournament. Like, everybody played, and if you played one game, you were not playing the next game, type of thing. But McGlynn was generally a starter for the bigger games, but he's playing for Union. He had that rocket of a free kick goal just recently.
Okay, we got to move on. We're almost 2 hours in. Sargent.
We'll go 3 hours today.
No, we're not. Sargent.
He can grow his balls back. That's about what I would expect at this point. That's about the ceiling I would expect.
Yeah, I'm giving him a small ceiling because of that. I think that I just haven't seen anything from him.
Grow and develop as a winger, I guess.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, I was saying he's going to be the top center forward scorer for Americans in the championship. Now I just not even believe in that.
I kind of blame that a lot on Norwich as a whole, not necessarily. I do put some blame on Sargent too, but Norwich as a whole is.
How do you take a Premier League team that gets relegated and goes down to the championship, and all the players basically stay, and then be as bad as they have been already?
Oh, that's as bad as they've been already has been one game in the championship.
I don't care. They look like shit.
They also played like the 17th team from the previous season, and then tied them, and didn't even look like the better team for most of the game.
No, they look like shit. And if this is what Norwich are going to be, boy, it's going to be a long season in the championship for them. And Josh Sargent, you better buck up, become a leader, get these motherfuckers motivated, get on some ass, fucking complain when motherfuckers don't pass you the ball, and punch Rashika in the face when he's a fucking greedy bitch. Yes, just hey, I'm done with it. This is a new Josh Sargent. This is a major sergeant, Sergeant Major, not a fucking like one of the sergeants. Oh, Conrad, we already talked about.
Yep.
Daryl DK and
I mean, he has room to grow, but how much is a big question.
Yep. Gio Caccini's taking a step backwards. I'd say maybe he might have hit a ceiling, but I'm not sure.
It's like, oh, my ceiling's way too high. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Just to my level.
Jonathan Lewis never had a ceiling. And then we're done. Yay! We're fucking got through this tonight. I can't believe it.
But wait a second. There's more.
No.
Yeah. Hold on. Wait a second.
You do know I'm like a vice president of a company now, so I can't stay
yeah. You can't fire yourself, Derek. You can show up to work a little late.
The president can fire me.
President's not at work. He doesn't care.
He's not going to be at work tomorrow, actually.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Okay, so let's see. We did that. We did same cuts. We did Jose. Wait, did we do Jose's? I don't think we understand. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Aaron Longs. Yes, we've done that. We've done you. 69, we've done.
Done them.
I don't think any of our players fit their ceiling except for the MLS lifers. And in my opinion, Musa has the highest ceiling.
Musa's
I agree
got
that
a really
Musa's got a really fucking high ceiling. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. He's probably one of the top up there, maybe with Gio, maybe even higher than Gio. We'll see. It really all depends on whether or not Gio can stay healthy.
Yeah.
As far as any of our players having hit their ceilings except for MLS lifers, I guess you can make the argument that every player, regardless of age, can still get a little bit better at some aspect in the game. But even then, let's just say you can complete a cleaner pass. That doesn't mean your ceiling's that much higher. It just means that you've grown an inch.
Millimeters.
Yeah.
Millimeters. To use the international measuring scale.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's inch.
Nope. There's things called millimeters, centimeters.
Crazy talk.
Decimeters.
You're speaking Farsi right now.
Meters. Kilometers.
You speaking some alien language, some Martian?
Hey, dude.
Adam Wiggins. I certainly feel like Reyna has the highest ceiling. Here's a hot take. I think McKinney has hit his ceiling, and LDT may have a higher ceiling at that position. With that said, McKinney is still a class player for the U.S. men's national team.
Good point, Adam. That's what we've been saying. Just because McKinney may be close to hitting his ceiling doesn't mean he's not a fucking really good player. Because he is. So
now, whether or not LDT can exceed McKinney will be seen.
I
don't know. Again, McKinney's been a key player for Juve for the past 2 years. Now, despite the fact that what some Juve fans and some Italian pundits might say, he's absolutely been solid for Juve for the most part.
Yeah, fuck those pundits.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see. Germanicus says, you think Luca will soon start for one of the world's biggest clubs like Juventus? That actually is a hot take.
I'd agree. I don't think so. I don't see that.
I don't see Luca De La Torre getting anywhere near a sniff from Juventus.
I could see him at Feyenoord or PSV maybe down the line, but not Juventus. No.
Let's remember the main reason why McKinney was brought into Juventus is because Pirlo brought him in to fill a specific role, and that was to basically boss the midfield, just run, just destroy. Now, mind you, he's proven to be much more effective offensively than defensively.
No, I think Pirlo told him to do that too.
No, I think he definitely pushed him in that direction in the end.
Pirlo
he brought him in initially because he saw the style player, and he's like, I need that in my midfield. But he wasn't. I don't think he was necessarily thinking about the offensive side of it.
I think he was, and I think
Pirlo. Back and look at the quotes, but
Pirlo wanted him to be a pure box-to-box guy that got in the box, too, and headed shit in. But certainly became more prevalent after Pirlo, but still. I mean, he's spectacular. Let's move on. All right. Oh, thank you, Custom G, for $4.99.
Commenter here.
At what's the wiggly shit?
Approximately.
At approximately one older than Paxton is now. Brendan starred on Philly when they were first in MLS. Paxton will be fine, though. It's an even better Philly team now. It is, but I don't know. I mean, Brendan is just
basically Brendan was starting for Philly 1 year older than what Paxton is now. So basically, Paxton's got 1 year to hit that point of where Brendan was, and Philly's even a better team, is what he's saying.
I agree with all of that, but
regardless, Paxton definitely needs to get some playing time, and hopefully Philly plays him a little bit more and more. And I'm not saying he needs to be a starter by any means, but start getting some playing time, damn it.
Well, I think he needs to be a starter soon.
I'd like to see it.
He needs to. I mean, if he wants his career to grow like his older brothers, he's going to have to start playing some fucking ball games. All right, are we done?
Thanks again, Custom G. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Samuel Cuts. We've talked about Jizz Hornkamp earlier. But you'd appreciate the name. And look at that. That is the end of that thread.
Wow. 2 hours. This is a fucking marathon.
This is borderlining the Meg show. Well, we did 220 then, I think.
Yeah, but at least we had Meg on the show.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's just us two jerk-offs. All right. We
had Cole on the show, so.
Not Cole Bassett.
He hasn't stopped calling you an idiot the entire show, pretty much. But, yeah.
Anytime, dude. Trivial Pursuit. Let's do it.
Let's see. Derek thinks that those that pay his paychecks don't know YouTube. LOL. Good luck, Derek.
Don't know YouTube. Of course they know YouTube.
I don't know what this even means.
The hell? Of course they know what YouTube is. I haven't had an employer that doesn't know what YouTube. We do shit on YouTube. So of course I know.
I don't know. I'm looking at. I feel like Cole's been partaking in some news recently because his comments have been
erratic.
Have been getting erratic recently. Like, here we go. McKinney should be moved to striker if he wants 100K transfer.
All right. Well, Cole, I hope whatever you're going through, bud, you get over and you feel better. You've been coming here pretty regularly, I think, for a while, but not commenting this much. Dude, if you're going through a hard time, I hope it works out for you. I mean, we're not your enemy. I don't know how you got that idea. I certainly am not your enemy. So get better, do better, feel better. Okay. Who's we? There's a lot of people watching us, but they usually have the letters CIA and FBI. All right. So let's all end on a positive note, I guess. Make sure you like, subscribe, share it with your grandmother. I hope let's all, mind meld and hope things get better for Cole. I hope there's nothing serious going on there, but Brett said he might be drinking. So
come back Monday, come back Thursday, man. Definitely livened up the chat a bit.
It's a little weird. All right. We love you. Mwah, good night. We'll see you next time on the Straight Right Card.
You're gonna do her. Yeah.
Oh no!
Matt, what the hell was that?
What?